Hi, it's Abby Dyer Aminette, alignment coach and content strategist. Welcome to another episode of the Lead with Positivity Vodcast, where we bring you stories of female entrepreneurs that are showing up big in their communities and putting their ideas into action. Today, I want to welcome Karen Rosner. We're going to jump right in. And Karen, I want to ask you to tell us a little bit about you and about your beautiful business.
Hello. Well, thank you, Abby. I am Karen with KMR Personal Financial Counseling Services and Coaching Services. And I empower women 40 and over to take control of their finances and to get out of debt. And I've been through it myself. I went through a divorce. I was a single mom, tough times way back then. And I learned myself on how to get out of debt, because when my ex-husband and I separated, not only did I get custody of my child, I got custody of like $50,000 in debt. So yeah.
Wow.
Going away gift.
Well, many people struggle with debt, and definitely many women, right?
Yes.
In those types of circumstances. So you were motivated to start your business because you knew the challenges that other people had faced.
Yes.
So tell me, in your business and in your life, what's your greatest inspiration and why?
Well, I go by the phrase, they told me I couldn't, that's why I did.
Okay,
and
tell me
that
more.
is my motto. Yes.
Yeah.
And because not only was I a single parent with lots of debt and everything, I had a health issue. And I was born with a very bad heart condition, had several surgeries and various things like that. And they told me I wouldn't see my first birthday. Bam, I'm 59. And wow. And they told me I wouldn't live through an operation when I was 12 years old. And that was in 75. We're in 2022. And then they told me I couldn't have a child. I have a 32-year-old. So
Defying all the odds.
Yes. And I remember when I got my transplant, the doctor was introducing me. The new doctor is like, oh, well, you can't do. And my doctor is like, do not tell this woman she can't do it, because she will defeat you and prove you wrong.
Right, whatever it is.
Yes. And he goes, okay. So he learned very quickly. But I got out of debt because I needed to get out of debt. And I worked a couple of jobs, even though I had health issues. I worked a couple of jobs because I needed to put food on the table for my son and I needed to keep shelter. And it was hard. And I had my moments. But I was going through it. And for me, there was never an option to go back to my parents. For me, they were always there if I wanted to. But me personally, I didn't want to go back to my parents.
Yeah. And that's true for a lot of people, right? And that could be simply our drive for independence, or that could be because you really can't. Either your parents can't financially support you, or there are other issues that make that not something that's really doable, right? So I think a lot of people can relate to the fact that they're going to be doing that on their own, right? And trying to figure out how to manage that. And I know that you, in your business, and we'll talk a little bit about your business, you help people who have been through this same kind of difficult circumstance that you have. But you're also, in addition to that, a female entrepreneur.
Right.
And so I know that there will be a lot of women who can relate to the debt, but they can also relate to being a female entrepreneur. So tell me a little bit about maybe somebody would benefit from what's been your biggest challenge in your business so far?
My biggest challenge is probably getting clients, and getting the clients because they need to get to know me. They need to trust me and get to know that I'm real. And I think that I've been through it it helps out. And I want to help women that want to help themselves and also to get out of debt. And for being an entrepreneur, the drive, and I don't want to be where I am today 2 years from now. I want to be forward. So
Yeah.
the drive to be my own boss and the drive to help women and just my why.
Yeah. Oh, I know that many entrepreneurs struggle with getting visibility, right?
Mhm.
Building that know, like, and trust. There are a lot of online
Yeah.
entrepreneurs, and so you have to get out there and get in front of people, and so that can be challenging.
Mhm.
How about, what's one of your biggest wins so far as a female entrepreneur?
The biggest win is working with people, and I have worked with a couple of clients. I remember one of my clients, she medical, because I'm also a medical social worker on the side. So I have the medical background and I know these resources, but one of my clients, she went in for surgery on her arm, and they had the surgeon within network, but the assistant surgeon was out of network. And like that's thousands of dollars more because of out of network. And so we called the insurance company, we told them what happened. They looked it up, we gave them the doctor's name, and we told her that she was literally under the knife when this doctor came into the picture. And they're like, okay, in network, we'll charge it in network because you didn't pick it. And she saved about $700 right then and there. And I got the biggest hug.
I bet. I bet it is definitely when we are able to help and serve others
Yeah.
that we feel our biggest gratitude and success. And those kinds of things, debt, especially medical, I know you can really relate to,
Oh, yes.
are a very big stressor for people. I
Mhm.
mean, debt in general is a big
Mhm.
stressor for people. And I know that that is something that you work with people on in your program. So
Right.
tell me a little bit about your program and how you get people started and what that looks like.
Okay. Well, first of all, I meet with somebody and we make sure that we can work together. And then once we are able to determine that we can work together, there's a 6-week program that takes 12 weeks because we meet every other week. So no, I'm good at math somewhat. So, but what it is that I ask my client before, if she agrees to work with me, before I even make the first appointment, what I would like her to do is to track her spending and for a month. And then we make a schedule for a month ahead, month out, and then we analyze it. Then we look at what she's doing. We look at how to build a budget. And then we also talk about accountability partners. You can't do this alone. I didn't do it alone. I had a friend as accountability partner telling me no. And nobody likes to hear the word no.
They don't.
So, but if somebody loves you enough and that wants to help you through this big ordeal challenge, it's to tell you no when you need to hear no. And then after you're out of debt, you can hear a little more yeses. So to get an accountability partner and also to keep on track with the budget. And that's what the accountability partner really is keep on track with the budget, do the budget. The budget is not going to be perfect. You're going to tweak it every month, a couple times a month. I have this client, she called me today. She's like, Karen, I forgot about this and this. I'm like, don't worry, we're tweaking. This is why we do it month to month. And usually about month 4 or 5, you have about what you're going to spend. The extras, and it's not as much tweaking as you do. So that's what we work on. And then we work on the pain points, and we continue with the budget. And that's how I coach my clients through the process. And when they pay off one of their debts, they're so excited. And we celebrate all wins. Even if she doesn't buy coffee today, we celebrate a win. So, because it's what the pattern. And debt in finances is 20% knowledge, 80% behavior. So we're really trying to change some behaviors here.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Discipline. We struggle with discipline. We all do as people.
Right,
and
right.
One of the advantages of having someone like you in their corner is that you help them, right? You as a coach help them on those good days and those bad days.
Yep.
Right. And it's so important when you're doing difficult things to celebrate, right? The steps that you're taking and the wins that you're having. It helps keep you motivated. Right. And as coaches, we help people with that, because the journey, whether that is as an entrepreneur or that is trying to change some behavior, is really up and down. Right.
Yep.
Discipline that ultimately gets you to that end result, which in your case was 20 months to get
20
that
months,
$50,000 out of debt.
20 months and $50,000 gone in 20 months. And I was so excited. I'm like, yes, I was, and my friend that kept on telling me no took me out to dinner to celebrate that I got out of debt. So, and she paid.
I think that was a nice thing to do.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what's the number one thing that you think makes the difference for your clients in terms of being successful or not? Is it the tracking? Is it the accountability partner? What is that one thing?
It's a little bit of both, but it's the discipline and the accountability and the encouragement. And because if you're going on and you're paying your bills and you're getting out of debt and they're like, oh, that's good. Good job. Yeah. It was not going to be encouraging,
Yes.
And like I said, it's to celebrate the small wins and knowing that somebody's in your corner and not judging you, but helping you.
I think that's a really good point. As coaches, right? That isn't our role, right? Right or wrong from a judgmental perspective.
Right.
So for you, it sounds like you do have some yes and knowing that you might give a client in order to help them, right? Make better decisions that are ultimately going to help them reach that goal that they want to achieve, which is being debt free,
right.
not having that stress. So I also know that in addition to being a coach and helping women get out of debt, and being a real expert from a medical debt perspective, in addition to that, you are a social worker, right? And you bring that expertise to the table.
Right.
But you also have a couple of other things going on. So how about tell us a little bit about the nonprofit that you have?
Okay, and I do have a nonprofit organization, and it's to help transplant patients that have had transplants, organ or tissue transplants. And it's to help with medications, co-pays, and also, travel if they need anything regarding to the transplant. If they need transportation or gas, my organization helps them with that. And also it's helpful for medications, because medications for transplants are very expensive, because I had a transplant 16 years ago. I had a heart transplant 16 years ago. And that was my last surgery I had. And it was the best surgery. I wish it was the first, but couldn't do it at the first, and so it's been the best surgery I had. And it's been keeping me healthy and going. And I work with transplant patients, but I do, in my job as a social worker, I work with transplant patients, but where I work at, I do not mention about my nonprofit because of conflict of interest. So,
Sure.
but I help them on the side, outside, people outside that knows about it.
Absolutely, because you in many ways serve people as a social worker, as a coach, in your nonprofit. And then I couldn't let us get away from this interview without talking about your drumroll book. Tell us about the book that's going to be coming out.
Yes, I wrote a book like I had time to. It took me a few years to write the book. And it's about my life, and it's about what I've been through having a heart condition back in the 60s and 70s, 80s, 90s to now, and then getting the transplant. The ins and outs of the growing up, literally, I feel like kind of sort of I grew up in the hospital, not with my family. I visited my family and I stayed in the hospital.
Yeah.
So, and getting people to know, and helping them out, helping out transplant patients, helping out patients and families that are born with a disability. And mine was an invisible disability, what they call invisible, because you can't see them. But it was difficult, but like I said, they told me I couldn't, but I did.
Absolutely. And for someone who has been through what you've been through, right? From my perspective, now a social worker and a coach, and you have a nonprofit, you've written a book, you volunteer with nonprofits.
Yes.
You are an amazing inspiration.
And a little busy.
And a little busy for many, many people.
Yes.
Tell me, and the folks listening to this interview, how do you stay motivated on some of those hard days? Because there have got to be some.
Well, I have 2 cats that come and cuddle with me, but it's the other people. It's, when I see my patients when I'm working, oh, Karen, thank you for your help. Oh, you came in to visit me. And, and I go in with a smile and I crack jokes too. And also with, excuse me, and it's with my clients. They're like, okay, Karen, you're killing me. Because I wanted coffee this morning. Yeah, you got coffee at home. You could bring it to work.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying you can't have coffee. I'm saying you shouldn't be buying coffee at the $5 store. But it's them encouraging me and saying thank you to me and letting me know and encouraging them. So it's a two-way street.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. What is one last piece of advice that you would give other female entrepreneurs?
Go for it. And go out, get your why and go for it. And because, they say you have one life, but you live it every day. So watching TV 24/7 or throughout the weekend, and you're like, oh, I should be doing this. I should be doing this. Do it. And, and I joke around with my clients that drink sometimes, and they like, oh, I have a bud. What I said, but never what made you wiser. So, and
very
like,
true.
And that's what they say. Oh, yeah, okay. So, and that's how it is. And so It's just going back and just going for it. And, you could do it. If you have the right people behind you and the encouragement, and you can do it. You could do anything you put your mind to. I've always told my son that. So.
And you have done a lot of things against the odds.
Oh,
So,
yes. Yes. So, I mean,
yeah.
They told me I wasn't going to see my first birthday. Like I said, I saw my 59th. So, yeah, it's pretty good. So,
that's pretty good. That's pretty good. So tell folks who need assistance with debt or their finances, they want to reach out to you in order to get some help. Tell them the best way to contact you.
The best way you can contact me is two ways. Is one, by my email, kmrpfc22@gmail. And if you want to text me or text me, it's 808-253-1157.
All right, very good. Well, everyone, thank you for joining us for the Lead with Positivity Vodcast, where we talk to female entrepreneurs that are doing big things in their communities. They're coming here to tell us their stories. If you like this episode, subscribe. We'll see you next time. Thanks for joining the show. Bye-bye.
Bye.